Hey folks, Quilly18 here, and welcome to part 2 of our MekHQ game over here. MekHQ is a program that lets you manage a whole campaign, a Battletech campaign, that you can then, you can resolve everything on the computer and everything like that. It's excellent. This is Tabletop Battletech, I should say. It's a free and open source program. I think I also forgot to say that last time. So in between episodes here, what I've gone and done is named the rest of our mech warriors over here after some subscribers that we've got. And we've gone and also filled out the table of organization and equipment, the TO&E. Yeah, I'm never gonna remember that. Actually, it's gonna be a bit of a problem. But the table of organization and equipment has been filled out. We've got the Wallonian Lance over here, this sort of medium lance over here. It's actually a total tonnage. Oh, it's 205. Did I go to 205? Thought I was at 200 here. We actually might be on the lower end of heavy at this point. Yeah, I've got one heavy mech, two medium mechs, and the light over here. So the Marauder, the Screaming Hawk, a Wolverine, and a Locust over here. It's worth noting the Marauders, in terms of battle value, isn't much better than the Wolverine here. But it is a very, very cool mech. If we go to unit in the hangar, the Marauder over here fields twin PPCs. It's got 20 heat sinks, which means it can fire both PPCs in one turn and still sink all the heat. Not necessarily all the other weapons, and also movement and stuff, but you tend to have to pick and choose your weapons fire in Battletech. So yeah, it's not like the Marauder is like the most intense system or mech in the game, but it's kind of cool. So we got that sorted out. Oh, I forgot to get the extra tech. I knew there was something. I want to go and hire 2 extra mech techs over here. We're gonna go with hire and hire. And I'll rename you both. Mech Tech over here. Still in GM mode over here. We're going to edit you and your name. So you are going to become Cloudwind Wing. And we are going to have you renamed to Giles 25. Welcome to the fun over here. And then, TechMech, you're a little weaker. You're both not ideal, but I guess that's going to be okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to assign one of you to this lance as a regular person, so you are maintaining sort of everyday maintenance over here. I guess we gave the other mech tech the private rank, which I guess is going to be fine. Let's go ahead and do that. Change rank, private, change rank, private over here. That's going to be fine. So you're going to be looking after that. And then we've got the extra mech tech sitting around as well, which will help to jump in to do extraordinary repairs as opposed to regular maintenance over there. Okay, so we get different views here too. Graphic, details, status. I mean, general is going to be fine, I think, for this, and that's going to be okay. The other thing I did is I went and got some parts to fill out our warehouse so that we would have some things on hand for some quick repairs. We got a bunch of armor over here. We got some heat sinks, a handful of a few of the lasers, common lasers we have, one extra PPC, which is probably the most extravagant thing that we've got sitting in our bay. But, our flagship mech, the Marauder, fields PPCs, and it would be really annoying to have to be missing one. And we've also got some ammo for the weapons we've got. We've got some LRM5s, SRM2s, 4s, and 6s. Now, obviously, these are all the same type of ammos, but these are pre-packaged recharges or reloads, so we're just going to go ahead with that. I actually don't know how the game is necessarily going to keep track of these reloads for us, but we'll deal with that when we get there. It almost makes more sense if we had just ordered SRM rockets by themselves. I think one of the things in the campaign options, I think there's something somewhere about how the weapons are set up, but I don't know. I don't think I see it here. I thought there was a different way of organizing the weapons somewhere in here, but I don't know what they are. Not sure. Anyway, let's just move on, I suppose. So now that all this is set up, we're gonna add a little bit of money. So our net worth right now is about 15 million C-bills. We're gonna give ourselves a little bit of funds just to cover maintenance and other expenses appropriate with this. So what I've seen other people talk about online is they suggest something like about 10% of your net worth you should add that as cash. That's a pretty good baseline. So sure, we'll do that. We'll add ourselves 1.5 million C-bills to get going. And yeah, where do the funds come from? Sure, we had a rich uncle give us that. So we've got some cash. Obviously, your net worth goes up appropriately. And there we go. And I think at this point, we could basically bop out of GM mode. Except, no, I want to leave the GM mode on for a moment because we're going to go and look for our very first contract over here. So we're going to go to the marketplace and we're going to go to contract market. And the reason I want to leave on GM mode is because when it's on, you can generate more contracts. And I want to do that just to showcase some of the different types of contracts that can happen. Every now and again, some of them take a little longer to generate, so there's a little bit of a delay over there every now and again. You can filter by different things if you want, but we'll go in whether you pay your fee to the mercenary whatever board, which we'll leave on. So, variety of different contracts over here, different employers, different enemies, sometimes just pirates, and sometimes it's, you know, like this, a great house against a great house. So the Federated Sons versus the Draconis Combine over here. This would be an objective raid mission. And then there's a big breakdown. There's big differences between these. You get told where the location is. You get told how many days it'll take you to get there, how many jumps. What are the allies you're going to have, and what are the enemies going to have. Now, it's very important, and this caught me totally off guard here. F is the most powerful. A is the weakest. A is like common every day in terms of ease to get. I think this is what it came from originally. It came from sort of like sort of rarity or importance or something like that. Like class A materials, anyone can pick up their local supermarket. It's easy to get. The F stuff is like almost impossible to find because it's so rare and so powerful or whatever. It's such a huge demand. So the ratings, the F enemies are much more powerful than the A enemies. And this is the skill as well. So these would be veterans. That might be a little bit tough. On the other hand, you've got, you know, so different transport terms. So we currently don't have our own dropship or jump ship, although you can buy one. You can start searching for it. Ship search over here actually costs you 100,000 C-bills just to go looking for one. And it's quite a hard target to reach. And then you've got to buy the damn thing afterwards. But right now we're going to be hiring our own transportation. We'll just be renting jump ships or things like that as we go. And so your employer will pay for some of that. You can also get the salvage rights over here. So of all the salvage we generate in the battles, we'll get to keep 30% of it. And this is kind of interesting. It's not 30% per battle. It's 30% over the entire length of the contract. For example, this is actually a 4-month contract. For 4 months, we'll be working this raid over here. And in that time, we'll have plenty of fights. Some fights, we might not take any of the salvage because we're not particularly interested in it. And in other fights, we'll take all of the salvage, like 100% of it. But it comes down to, you can have up to 30% over the course of the entire contract, if I understand it correctly. Some of them also offer battle loss compensation. There we go, 20% over here. So if you take some losses, those will be compensated over there. Here we go. 100% battle loss compensation over here to participate in this planetary assault against the Free World League. How crazy is that? So in terms of what we take, I don't know. Is there anyone who's green enemies? This is just a recon raid. The thing is, we're really well suited to doing raids. We've got our light lance and everything ready to go. So this would be against the Draconis Combine on behalf of the Federated Sons. It's only 1 month contract, so the pay is not huge, but it would let us quickly turn around and then make other plans. It's only 53 days to jump there. Oh, 0 salvage right, straight support. I don't remember what that is. I think that's covering... Is that going to be support in battle as well? Like they're going to be showing up with a bunch of dudes to help out? Although they're only going to be green dudes as well. I think that might be it. Hold on. MekHQ, straight support. Oh, is that paying fees? Paying the technical crew salaries? I think it might be some... Oh yeah, how much it covers your technical costs. Yeah, okay. So I mean, some things, you know... straight support amount, yeah, see, it doesn't count for that much. Pirate hunting. 90% salvage rights. Oh, they're gonna be so good, though. These are good mechs, but only green people. Objective raid, 3 months, 70% salvage rights. Better pay, although this pay will be paid out month to month, is the way it works. You know what, I kind of like this one. So you can name the contract whatever you want. Seems like a pretty good idea to name it like something. So this is on planet Ronald or Star Ronald. I don't know whichever one. We're gonna go Drac vs Compelling Objective Raid. There you go. So it's a 3-month contract, 70% salvage rights. So we'll get quite a bit of it. And who knows what we'll get. I like it. We're going to go ahead and accept this contract over here. So we've now accepted this. Again, it's a 3-month job. So first we got to get to the place. So Ronald over here, and you can see the start date. The start date is based on, if we go straight there, that's when it'll start. And I see no reason not to go ahead and do that. They'll tweak the start date if something happens over here. So I'm going to turn off GM mode. And what I'm going to do as well is go back into the campaign options, go to finances, and turn on the fact that from now on, we got to pay for things. We're going to do that. I think this is everything that was set on by default over here. So we're going to confirm this. And I'll do a little bit of a save over here. Boom. The Belgian Bruisers. Now we're officially playing the game. And yeah, the only reason we'll turn on GM mode is if, we want to tweak something for flavor, rename people or something like that. And we'll see. So we're going to Ronald. So let's go to Interstellar Map. So we're here, Galicia, and we want to find Ronald. So you got to hit enter, by the way, to lock that in. Otherwise, we won't find it. We're there. If we calculate jump path. Oh, there's Terra. Look, it's Earth over here. And you can click and drag, and if you right click you got zooms and stuff, but you can also zoom with just the mouse button and stuff. And I need to reselect Ronald, thank you very much. Calculate jump path, boom 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 boom, and we can begin transit. It's going to take us 67 days. Most of it's going to spend recharging our jump drives. It's going to cost us almost 800,000 C bills, although a part of that is being paid for by our sponsor, and we also got an advance on our pay as well, partial advance. So we'll set begin transit over here, and then we can advance time. Now, you can advance time 1 day at a time if you want. And you can see charging, and if we do this, we might get some other events, personnel market upgrade, and things like that. But it's not terribly exciting. We are going to go ahead and speed things up. We know at the time it was going to take us, 67 days? I think we advanced about, 8 days over here. So I'm going to go and say advance multiple days. I will advance 58 days. It sounds about right in advance. We'll get a log of what happens. Yeah, everything is fine. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, so now we're 1.7 days out in transit to the planet over here. So if we advance... Yeah, we can see the start date is March the 10th. And so when we get to March the 10th, that is likely to be, we are now here. We're Ronald, we're on planet, we have landed, excellent. So once we're here, a few things change. In the bottom right corner, we've got this deployment requirements over here. For our contract, we have to field at least 1 lance of mechs, and 1 of them has to be assigned to scouting. So our, oh, medium and heavy, yeah. It does consider our Wallonian lance to be a heavy lance. And it considers our Belgian Bruisers to be a medium lance because of the total weight, 145. I wonder where the breakpoint is. I suspect we're like right at the lightest possible tonnage for a medium lance, which might affect some of the difficulty. What if I move... So the Spider is a 35-ton mech, right? Yeah, let's say I remove you. Do we only see it here? Okay, you're officially light. I'm going to remove the Locust. And if I add the Locust to the Flemish Lance, are you... Ah, you've gone up to medium again. Damn. Okay, I'll remove the Cicada and add in the Spider. Okay. So now the Flemish Lance is officially considered to be a light lance, which is, I think, important for the difficulty of combat you're going to face. Meanwhile, the Wallonian Lance, if I re-add in the Cicada, is definitely going to be considered heavy. Whether or not that's good for us, I don't know. We'll change the force icon to remind us of that. So if we go over here. So yeah, this is a heavy lance. Boom. And we're just going to have to accept that, unfortunately. I don't know if it makes a difference. I don't know if the game actually uses the absolute battle value or if it's using this. I'm not sure. In any case, our Flemish Lance over here, we're going to assign you to a scout role. And that's really all we have to worry about. We could go and assign, let's say the Wallonians, we're going to put you on defend because we've got a base camp we want to keep an eye on over here, and they're going to be deployed to do that sort of thing. I don't think we need to do this, but, you know, it seems like it fits. Okay, so we got that. What we're going to do is we're going to advance to Monday, because it's on Mondays when you actually get scenarios generated over here. Now, depending on the intensity and what roles are being filled, there's just a percentage chance of something happening. So there may not be something every Monday, and sometimes more than one will be generated on Mondays. Now, the actual fight's not on Monday. It'll be a variable amount of things. In this case, there's going to be an encounter. There's going to be a battle happening on the 15th, which is tomorrow over here. Basically, like, you know, we've been scouting the area from you know, we've got some orbital stuff. We're getting some info. We've got some spies out there. We've got a sense about enemy movement, and we feel like we can encounter them tomorrow. We're deploying some mechs out there. So the scenario here is going to be a chase scenario where we are considered to be the attacker in this scenario. We are going to start on the south side of the map, and our victory condition is to reach the north edge of the map with 50% of our starting forces. Once we do, we can consider ourselves the winner of this scenario. One thing to note, though, is at the end of this, the defender will control the battlefield after the battle. And what this means is, because we will not control the battlefield, we cannot get salvage in this fight. Salvage will simply not be an option in this fight, and there's no way around it in this particular configuration. We will be asked, after we finish the battle, we will be asked who controls the battlefield. Whether I say I did or not, MekHQ is going to be like, no, we're overriding that. The defender controls it, and therefore you get no salvage. So that's going to be the reality here. But it's worth noting, I don't actually have to kill anyone. Do I not have any strategic or tactical rerolls? Whoa, okay. That's interesting. Now, I can't remember. This is based, I think, on the tactics skill. Is it based on my full unit captain skill, or is it based on the lance highest rank person? Well, I don't know if that comes up, because my captain does have tactics. Just level 1, so maybe it doesn't matter. Anyway, what I'm trying to say here is the details of this fight. So this is going to be a heavy urban fight in a fortress city. The map is huge. It's an 18 by 70. It's 70 tall. It's a very long map to work through. And it's going to be on a full moon night with torrential downpour. If you have, I think it's tactics, maybe leadership. There's some trait that allows you to do limited rerolls. I could like click on, say, torrential downpour and reroll it. Basically, you're using your superior planning skills to be like, no, you know what? We can manipulate things. We can do the battle at a different time. If we wait an hour or this or that, we can get around this or that. This might actually work out okay. I don't know how this is going to impact our movement, and I'm very nervous that we're going to be moving extraordinarily slowly as a result of the light/weather. But this should also make it a lot harder for mechs to shoot each other. And as a result, we might just be able to just YOLO mode it from the south of the map to the north. We are going to get an attached ally over here. So there's going to be a wasp that we are also going to be controlling as if it were part of our lance in this particular encounter. Sometimes it's attached allies, sometimes it's going to be allied forces run by a bot as sort of a separate lance, but you will get allies in here. In this case, this is going to be a wasp that's going to be part of our group that I'm going to be steering, driving, controlling. We're going to be facing off against the Compelling Confederation here. And yeah, so remember when I set the difficulty over here to green? Right? Because I wanted it a little easier. Look how much opposition I'm going to be against. A Vindicator, a Wolverine, a Thunderbolt. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is the Thunderbolt not a heavy mech? Can I get a tonnage information? I think it might be a medium, but I feel it's a heavy. The Wolverine is a medium, but it's like at the high end of that. A Spider, a Locust, a Stinger, a Firestarter, a Spider, a Jenner. These are all mechs we're going to be facing. In addition to that, there'll be a hover tank and an assault gun, or a wheeled assault gun over here. So there's going to be some vehicles as well. We're going to be massively outnumbered here. But again, our goal is not to kill. Our goal is to run to the top. Now, they're also going to start at the south. Now, what I'm a little confused about is chase attacker. But it feels like we're going to be running. We're just trying to run to the northern end. It feels like we're the ones being chased. which I think is clearly the situation. Luckily, and I've had this happen before in these types of battles, that the enemy will have reinforcements that spawn in the north. That is not the case. So we mostly just have to outrun them. But I don't know what outrunning them in a freaking city is going to be like. Ugh. Okay, well, let's advance, because this is happening on the 15th. So we're going to advance to there. And now if we click on the scenario again, we can now start the game. Now, it is worth noting at this point, if I wanted to, I could just print out the sheets. This would give me the, character sheets of all the people involved in this fight, mine and my opponents. And then I could go and play tabletop with some friends. We could actually, play it out in our basement with dice and have fun and do all that. And then in the end, we could just go ahead and click this resolve manually button, and we would get to tell the game exactly what happened. These mechs got destroyed, or so on and so forth. We could totally do that, which is awesome. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and start the game in MekHQ, and we're going to play against the bot. Just a disclaimer here, we may not actually play through this whole mission as part of a video. We might just play a little bit and then cheat. Well, cheat. Well, yes, we would cheat actually, by forcing a victory or something like that, just to save some time for the purpose of video making. So here's all of us, including the Wasp, who's joining in here. Oh, the Wasp has 2 quirks. Can I see that listed somewhere? How do I find out what this Wasp's quirks are? Add searchlights. I wonder if adding lights would be a... Configure all? Configure. Quirks. This mech, this Wasp, is easy to maintain and has extended torso twist. Can it twist 2? 2 hex sides. Oh my! That's very nice. Nifty. You can also see deployment things. So my Spider is going to deploy at the start of round 3. My Locust, Jenner, and Assassin are both going to deploy on the start of round 4, and the Wasp is going to deploy on the start of round 5. Now, here's the other thing. While I'm wickedly outnumbered, not all of my opponents will be spawning at the same time. The Spider will spawn at the start of round 3. Nothing else will spawn earlier than that. And then some of these will be later. Like the Thunderbolt, the 65-ton mech, it's slower, so this is definitely a heavy. It's slower. 65 must be a heavy. Must be, yeah. It's slower, though, so it's only going to be on round 8. Hopefully, by the time this spawns, we're going to get the hell out of there. We have a total battle value of about 3,000. They have a battle value of about 8,500. Look at the tonnage difference here. It's ludicrous. But we're not here to fight. We are here to run, and hopefully we should be able to do that okay. In MekHQ, if you go to View and Game Options, there is a Victory Conditions tab. These are all the victory conditions that MekHQ is able to detect over here. And sometimes these victory conditions will be compatible with the victory conditions that MekHQ puts out. Like MekHQ might be something like, listen, you've got to kill 50% of their battle value without losing 50% of your own. In that case, then the victory condition would be set to this. Whoever kills 50% of the other person's battle value wins the battle. In this case, our condition is to reach the top of the map with 50% of our units, is what it says. And that's not simulated in here. As a result, we're going to have to determine ourselves when victory happens, and we can type in a command, /victory, in the little chat window, and that will signal to the game that we are victorious. The other players will have to agree or disagree. Because we're playing against the bot will always agree with us if we say we're victorious or we say we're defeated, and we get to determine that. You can hit this button here, skip all phases when forced victory occurs. So when you do a /victory or /defeat, this will skip the phases. It will actually finish the current phase you're in, but then skip the remaining ones, which you could go sort of either way with this. I guess I'll leave it off. For now, that's gonna be fine. That is the default, so it's gonna be okay. It means when we reach the top of the screen, we'll still have to do one last sort of shooting pew-pew round, I guess. Which means technically we could lose units and be below 50% after we declare ourselves victorious. Yeah, that's a little bit weird. So you know what? I actually will go back to the game options. I'll turn that on. So if we reach the top of the screen during our movement phase and declare ourselves to be victorious, there will not be a shooting phase. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. So we'll go ahead with that. We've changed this, and we say, I'm done. So now we're in MekHQ, and there's going to be an issue for round 1, but literally nothing's going to happen in round 1. Now it's round 2. Nothing's going to happen in round 2 either. Now it's round 3, and I believe we're going to start to deploy at this point. Doesn't say it here. We've got our BV, that's fine. If I hit done, yeah, there we go, because we're starting to deploy. So this is the city. Oh my god, it's all dark and blue, and the weather is terrible. I don't know if there's got to be, it's not in here, there's got to be just a manual I can load up to explain what the hell are the weather differences. Now, these are just road tiles, and this is nice and straight. This is actually going to be one of the best maps for us to do this on. We're going to go to Isometric View. Oh, does Isometric View not help with the buildings? Oh, because Isometric View makes the tile height pop out really, really nicely, but I think it's only for regular ground tiles, because these are objects. So the ground itself is flat here, so Isometric View is not doing anything for us. It's just that some of the buildings have elevation. So, I don't see... Is that only a spider deploying right now? It is. But I feel like, why wouldn't I just deploy on one side of the screen? Either the right or the left. Tell you what, we'll, I know, the right, because it's the furthest we want. We're going to have to stay on the road, because we're not going to be able to... Well, we might be able to hop from building to building. That's a really interesting idea. Like, the spider has a jump of 8. It could literally just leap from building to building. Taking advantage of the height differences. Like, we sort of want to jump on the lower buildings. So this is a height 2 building here, next to an 8 and a 9... And that will block line of sight. And that the spider can just leap through the city that way. So we're going to get you to deploy. This blue on blue is really hard to read. There's probably... Highlight hexes inside field of view. That's the problem. It's nighttime. I think there's field of view stuff and it's like changing the color. There's probably a way to tweak. Map sheet color is blue. I don't know. I don't want to mess with it and break it, but I bet you there's a way to tweak this. So anyway, I'll go ahead and deploy the spider on... well, there's... Are you on the ground or one of the other floors? Are these all height 7? There's some 9s over here, so they'll block line of sight. So I'm going to deploy my spider here on the top of the building. Boom. Done. Why am I showing up here? Oh, I'm betting the isometric view, yeah, is getting confused here with the building. So let's not use isometric view here. It does work great on the on a different kind of map. So the Compelling Confederation is trying to deploy here. So one of the questions I'm going to have, though, is am I going to start running ahead with the spider right away, or I'm going to wait for more people to come in? So you can see a little number. It's very tiny, but there's a number 1 on these 3 units. That's how many rounds before they deploy, and there's a number 2 on the Wasp. So our goal is to reach the top with 50% of your units. I guess I'm going to include the Wasp in there. So I'm going to say we have to reach the top with like 3 units, unless someone dies. Then we only need 2 units to declare success. Although, do we declare success? Oh, starting forces. Okay. So we have to reach the top with 3 units. You know what? In this case, I'm going to say 2. If I reach the top with 2 units, I'm going to declare that as a win because these are my starting forces. The enemy is deploying spiders, so they're going to be just as jumpy, crazy as I am. And they are going to try to shoot me as well. Now, I may as well do the jump. Look at this. Oh my god, the spider's amazing. I'm going to leap over here, and I'm going to hope they mostly follow me. So this is... Ooh, this is mud. I don't know if landing on mud is good. Height 6 building. Height 4. I mean, I may as well go as far as I can. Height 7. There will be some line of sight issues here. So I'm going to drop there. I'm going to turn to face backwards. And yeah, I think this illuminated area, I think that's actually our vision. I think it's that dark. That's crazy. So I'm just going to try to leap as far as possible. Boom. And they can follow me because they have a lot of speed. Just like me. I mean, they're literally the same unit. But by turning around, I'm going to be able to fire behind myself here. Because, yeah, I can't flip arms with this. That's good to know. So I can attack the spider, or I can attack the building. Now, it says collapse. So I'm trying to collapse the building is what I could do. How hard would that be to do? Okay, there's line of sight blocking me from shooting the building. But I wonder if that's a viable thing to make people fall. So we'll target the spider. I would need a 19 to hit. So, okay, my gunnery skill. Who is this? Sergeant Countess Potato. Countess Potato has got a gunnery skill of 6, which is not very good. So on 2d6, you have to meet or exceed the target number. So the target number starts at a 6, +2 because it's a full moon night, +2 because of torrential downpour, +2 because of medium range, +3 because the attacker, me, jumped, +3 because my target moved 7 to 9 hexes, and +1 because my target jumped. So I need to roll a 19 on 2d6, which is obviously impossible, so there's no point in firing at all, so I will just hit done over here. The bright side is, the situation's the same for them. They can't touch me, and that's what I was hoping for over here. This is not going to be a very interesting fight, or maybe it will be because it's going to be very different. Because of the weather, and because of the high mobility of the units, we might just literally get through this fight with no one ever hitting each other. So the movement rate here, the assassin's at a 7, 7, 8. The locust is fastest at an 8 and doesn't have jump. So I'm going to deploy the locust here. Oh, you jerk. He deployed a locust directly behind me. Still, once we start moving, I'm still convinced it's going to be very hard to touch me. The assassin and the Jenner both have jump jets, although the Jenner can't actually jump that high or that far. Well, both is true. The height that you can jump is equal to the distance you can jump. So with a jump of 5, I can jump up to 5 hexes away, and I can change my height by up to 5 hexes. Now, note, I can, if there's a 5 tile high or 5 height building right next to me, I can jump 1 tile and still land on top of the 5 height building. Okay, so the height that you can leap is unrelated to the distance you're actually leaping, but it does give you a limit. So I think I'll put the Jenner over here, because it's not really going to be able to depend much on jump to avoid things, although maybe some. And you're putting a Jenner right behind me, so that's just rude. Anyway, I'm thinking I'll put the assassin over here as well, because these two will move at the same rate, plus the assassin could just jump around if need be. So we'll do that, but yeah. Okay. Jenner. And yet, see, we're not getting our full movement at all. Our movement cost is going up dramatically because of the weather. I think it's the poor light rather than the weather is making it so that these tiles, which are otherwise clear, are costing us twice as much movement points. Doesn't affect our jump, but in this case, the Jenner can move as far as it can jump now, because I'm only moving 5 tiles. I could jump 5 tiles, and that's that. It's interesting that your jumping ability is not being modified by the lighting or the weather. Only your running ability for some reason. I don't know if you can install like lamps and things like that on your mechs, and I don't know if that changes things or whatever. You can just barely see the lighting, the sort of line of sight details here, these lighter tiles. That's the other thing with these buildings. There's not a whole lot of LOS. So we're going to go ahead and run that way. So obviously this other Jenner is going to be able to end up here. He's going to move just as fast. But again, between all the weather and the movement and everything, and he's going to have to run to do that. Running gives another +2 difficulty to hit. I'm not worried about being hit too often. Now my assassin could run right behind the Jenner here, and again soak that hit. Or we can jump at a 7. Oh, you can see I can't actually jump on top of these buildings here. They're height 9. They're too tall for me to jump from the bottom. But what I think I'll do is I'm going to jump over here to this height 7 building, which should give me plenty of movement options. Not that it really matters, but I will turn to face backwards, just on the off chance maybe I can take a shot at the Jenner. Boom. You're going to do that. And so my locust here, again, would normally be able to run up to 12 hexes, but we're not going to be able to do it here, so we're going to do that. One thing to note, these are all roads, these are pavement tiles. If you're running and make a turn on pavement, you have to do a piloting check, otherwise you can skid and fall over, which is fun. Jenner making an interesting move here. It's not actually advancing right behind me, which is good because there'd be no melee, but again, I think even the melee would have a hard time doing anything. The spider can walk around on the top of the buildings here, because you can climb up and down things. It costs you 1 extra movement per level change, but I think we mostly keep doing hoppy. The thing is, I could just leave the spider here, because I'm already ahead of my teammates. If I don't move, however... Wow, the spider's actually leapt backwards. Maybe to catch these guys. If I don't move, then I won't get much of a defensive bonus. Still, it's probably mostly okay. Oh, I can't back up here. Right, you can't do a level change with a backup. So you have to move at least 3 tiles to get a defensive bonus. I mean, should I jump? I think mostly the spider would just end up waiting at the top. But you know what? I'm fine with it. Leap over. Let's just do it. Okay, in terms of shooting, I'm thinking these shots are basically impossible. Yeah, we need 14s and 18s over here with the assassin, so you're not doing anything. The Jenner can flip its arms backwards to fire backwards, but we need 15s to hit, so that's not going to happen there. The Locust can do the flip arms as well, but it's not going to have a chance to hit anything, and the Spider's got no targets nearby, so it's going to be done, done, done. There is an opportunity for melee attacks. You can melee the buildings to knock them down. We're going to not do that to either one of the buildings, though, so I'm just going to hit done, done, and there we go. And I think we're probably going to see not a single shot fired in this scenario. The exception might be this Wasp here, who's about to deploy and might have a bad day, but I think I'm going to deploy it right over here, and it can just run up this road. This is very entertaining. Now, if I had not been packing a light lance, if I had decided to scout with a heavy, slow lance, then I would be in very, very big trouble, because these guys would easily be able to keep up with me, surround me. You can't walk through a tile where there's an enemy unit. You can walk through a friendly unit, but you can't walk through an enemy unit. And so I could have easily been completely jammed up. The Jenner I'm going to move first, and it's just going to keep running here, because that's its best bet to go far. Again, it can leap as far as it can run, which actually would give us a slightly more defensive advantage, because there's an extra +1 to hit something that did a jump, as opposed to just move to the same amount of tiles. So I guess we may as well do that. The Assassin, sure, just keep hopping. This is going to be it. This is going to be literally the entire scenario. Again, this is either, like, fascinating that this is there, because I love these differently generated scenarios with cool missions. It's worth noting, one of the things with the Battletech PC game that just came out is there are a few different mission types, but mostly they all just come down, it feels like, to battle. Well, here's a good example. This Wasp, which I have selected now, can move up these 4 tiles here, or if we jump, then we can jump further, which is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to jump straight up here. The Compelling, moved into bog terrain and got stuck in it. Ha! All right, we're not going to even bother checking to see if we can shoot anything, because the answer is almost certainly no. And there we are. So, yeah. We can declare physical attacks against buildings. Not interested. Boom, 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 boom. This is clearly not a fight I could fight. Again, in terms of battle value, I was outnumbered, what, 4-1? Yeah, I'm not doing any of that. The Wasp is going to keep leaping forward. The Spider is going to jump like crazy. Thump. The Locust is just going to run, because that's all it can do, because it can't jump. The Jenner, whether it jumps or walks, it's the same distance, but I guess we'll jump for more defensiveness. So at this point, I'm going to suggest it's clearly impossible for us to be touched. Between the weather and the speed, no one's going to do damage to us. And we're going to reach the top of the map with everyone. So to save us a little bit of time, I'm going to go ahead and do the /victory over here. Boom. I'm going to declare a win, and the bot will always go ahead and accept your declaration of victory. And we're going to do that now. I didn't actually set it to end in the current phase. So it'll end at the end of the round. So anyway, we're just going to skip all our attacks, because we were going to do that anyway. And we've achieved all required victory conditions. Hooray, hurrah. Done. You can save a record. This is something MegaMech can always do. Save a record of all units, including salvage to a file. I'm going to hit no. You don't need to do this. MekHQ and MegaMech will communicate, I don't know, through an API maybe, or a temp file or something. I'm not sure. But there we go. So over here, control the battlefield. Did your side control the battlefield at the end of the scenario? Even if I say yes, it's actually going to do a no here. But no, we did not control the battlefield, because the description of the scenario says the defender, the other guys, will control the battlefield after the battle. So, I mean, clearly we didn't. I mean, there's still tons of enemies. Unit situation. So, I was hoping we'd be able to showcase something a little bit more interesting here with the units. But we literally took no damage. Normally, you would load this up and you'd see, you know, light damage, heavy damage, salvage, or just total loss, right? If something was incapacitated, and we have control over the battlefield, then we can salvage it. But if something was incapacitated and we don't have control of the battlefield, it's a total loss. As an example here, if I took our assassin, let's say we got shot in the head, right? And so we're down to 2 armor over here. You can see heavy damage, but we weren't. So I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna leave it there just so that we can show off the repair mechanic. So our assassin took some damage to the head. It's gonna need its armor fixed up. And tell you what, to make it even more interesting, no, I don't want it to make it more interesting. Well, we could, because we could always cheat to get it back. We could we could tear off one of the arms, and that would showcase the fact that we have to use our administrative skill to see if we can find a replacement arm for this particular mech. And we'll just talk about it in theory. So I'll leave the little damage in there just as a showcase. Our allied unit was not lost, so that's good. And again, this would be red from the battle. You know, if anyone had taken damage, you know, we'd see something like this. Maybe someone would be dead or MIA. Okay, this would all be automatically pulled in for us. We're getting a chance to verify that everything is cool and groovy. And if you go resolve manually, you would go through this exact process, these same screens, but then you would be expected to actually fill something in. So likewise, our assassin, which took the head hit, we're going to say that, Vordian over here took a little bit of injury during this battle. And then the resolution, we did indeed claim victory. So that's there again. That was filled in automatically, either by the Mega Mech detecting victory because of, you know, battle value, or detecting victory because we did a slash victory over here. Recovered units, boom. Recovered personnel, everyone. We did not salvage anything. If we had destroyed anything, and if we had control over the battlefield, there would have actually been a salvage window showing all the things that are salvageable, and we would put a check mark next to everything we want to take for ourselves, keeping in mind that as a result of our contract, we're allowed to take up to 70% over there. So we would do that there, but this was not an example of anything like that happening, so we'll finish. Finally, we become disconnected from the server. Done and done. So this scenario is done, and we have victory. Let's go and take a look at the repair bay. Our assassin over here is heavily damaged. It's only damaged one place. It needs replacement head armor. This is a 30-minute job. It's actually not too bad at all to do this. Now, we've got our mech. He's assigned over here. That's fine. We can assign any mech to do this job. Doesn't matter. The Harmonium over here is a slightly better tech. His target is only 5, so we can tell him to do the task. Boop. Attempts to fix the armor. Needs 5, rolls a 3. Okay, try again. There we go. Every one of those takes time. Every one of those took 30 minutes of that tech's time, and he might, eventually the techs run out of time during the day for big repair jobs. Like, replacing some armor plating is easy. Replacing an arm or a weapon, that takes huge amounts of time. It might be a multi-day project, and worst comes to worst, you might not even have the material. If you have a lot of damage and a lot of damaged mechs, the mass repair salvage is very handy. You can select all the units you want to do en masse. You can say, here, I want you to do all these over here. We could leave off the Omnipods because it's not relevant to us. You can specify what skill you're going to require, and you can even ask the game to optimize technician selection to complete actions today. So if you have like 10 things to fix, and by default, what they'll do is they will half fix all 10 of them. That's kind of sucky. Instead, by hitting this, it'll move things around so that you will 100% fix 5 of them, and then 100% fix the other 5 the next day, as opposed to half fixing them today, and then half fixing tomorrow, and then, yeah, anyway. Hopefully that makes sense to people. You can also prioritize action. This just determines how it tries to, like, move your technicians around to get stuff done, but it'll always put them back to whatever your sort of permanent assignment was in there. So you do that. You can save these options as default once you've got them set, so I probably do all this, tell it to repair everything. I'm going to save these as a default, done, and then, yeah, hit start mass repair salvage, which there's no selected unit, so there's nothing to do, but there we go. And that would do it done. And you could also keep track of any parts acquisitions over here. And in the warehouse, you'd also see in the procurement list over here, things that we are trying to purchase. Some things we may not have, right? So there's a target. Let's say we need 3 new medium lasers. So our target will be 3. Our administrators will do some rolls to see if they find it. Maybe they only found 2 of them. They weren't able to find the next one because they failed in their rolls or didn't have enough time left in the day, so they'll try to find the last one on the last day. But even when you find them, it actually takes a while for it to be delivered. It can take a few days for it to be shipped via jump ship, right? Because some of them might be coming from off planet, so you're gonna have to wait for them to arrive before the repairs can be completed. So it's a whole thing. Next, we've got the infirmary over here. So Lieutenant Vordian has taken some injuries. Oh, we could go and look in the personnel room over here. Poor old Vordy. Take a look at his info. Oh, he's got a bruised foot. Look, see, it's highlighted. Look at that. We get the medical history. How excellent is this? Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So in the infirmary, we select our doctor, we select our patient, and we assign there. Oh, that's the other thing. In addition to salvage, you can actually capture prisoners as well. Lots of things can happen here. So he's going to slowly get treated and looked after. Mech Labs is where you can tune your mechs. You can actually custom design your mechs if you want. There's a whole Mech Lab application. If we go and pull up this folder here, hold on a sec, let me bring it over. There you go. This is the game folder. When you download the MekHQ package, it comes with MegaMech and Mech Lab built in. So this is the thing where you can design your own mechs, but you can also use this to tweak something. So let's say we go and we're like, okay, this Locust is really great, but you can customize it. You could choose to refurb it to a different kit. So there's baseline Locust models. We're on the 1E, but yeah, we could swap it over to the 1S or something like that. There's different costs for things for all kinds of different reasons. Because this is to upgrade to the ferrofibrous and endosteel variant of the Locust, so that would be really expensive to do. So you can do that, or the other thing you can do is you can customize it in the Mech Lab. It opens up in the tab over here, and then you can make your changes. You know, tweaking some of the weapons, so the equipment over here, assign critical slots for your weapons. This is where the critical hits happen, so equipment has a weight, but it also has a size. And the size takes up critical hit slots. And so this can stop you from wielding too many bulky things, but it also determines where crits can happen and horrible things can happen to you, for example. Then yeah, you get your preview of the final. Now, I'm not interested in doing this. We're going to remove you from the lab. So we could do that. Finances over here. You can take out loans. You can put up different amounts of collateral, which tune your interest. So if you want the lowest possible interest, you can offer a lot of collateral. In fact, we could offer more collateral in this case than we actually own, which is kind of fun. Or more collateral, sorry, than the value of the loan. That's the right way to think about it. So if you set it to 100, so this is a 10 million C-bill loan, and we'd offer up 10 million C-bills worth of stuff. Our max collateral is actually 15 million. So if we did this, presumably when hitting add, we'd get a complaint because we don't have that much stuff. But we could do something like this. There you go. So I'll offer up basically the entire value of my company for a $10 million loan. So if you don't repay it, things can go bad. But you can get lower interest rates by doing that. So if you need money, you can do this sort of thing. But okay, this contract, we're going to wrap this up in a second because this video's gone on very long. This contract is not done, right? This contract was apparently it was a 3-month contract. It started on March the 10th. It will finish on June the 10th. It's currently March 15th. So if we advance, okay, I was just hesitating there because there might have been a complaint because there might have been something we'd forgotten to do. If we advance next Monday, oh, there's another job. A probe over here. For this mission, we'd have to destroy 1/4 of the enemy forces, while having less than 1/4 of our own forces destroyed. Basically, for this scenario, whichever team destroys 25% of their opponent first wins. And in this case, the winner controls the battlefield after the battle. So again, we don't have to kill anything. We don't have to kill everything. To win, we only have to kill 1/4. That will give us victory, and as a bonus, we'll also control the battlefield after the battle. Now, what we could do is the second we kill 25% of someone, we could declare ourselves the winner, which probably makes sense because the AI, like with the bot, it'll just keep fighting until everything is completely wiped out. So we might want to keep fighting to get, maximum salvage out of this because we'd actually control the battlefield, which means we get salvage. But I guess presumably what's going on is whoever loses 1/4 of their forces will then do a tactical retreat from the battlefield. So we'd probably want to, we'd configure MegaMech to end the battle as soon as 25% of the forces are killed. That's victory. It'll end right there. Or we could do a /victory when it happened if we want to do it that way. Either way, that would be the right way to do it. So we'll be limited in salvage of whatever we killed, but still, then we get that kind of stuff. Again, I don't have any rerolls. I think we need something for this. I'd have to check out the docs, but it's probably something with our captain or something with the lance. It's probably the lance. So Vordian over here, Vordian doesn't actually have any tactics. If we go into GM mode for a second, it might be too late. And we went and edited Vordian. I mean, you're supposed to be a freaking leader here. So let's say we give you 1 level of tactics. Same as our captain over here. Tactics 1, Tactics 1. Now, again, it's probably too late, but in theory, I think on future things, we will start with 1 reroll or something like that. with that. I'd have to double check the docs, but it would let us reroll some of the things if we don't want it. So Dusk Dawn means there'd be a +1 difficulty to all the attacks because it's slightly dark. I think it also might impact some of our movement. There's also moderate rain, which I think will affect our attacks. It may also affect movement, or it might affect piloting checks, right? If it's rainy, you'd assume it'd be hard to keep your mech upright if you're forced to do a piloting check. So like running in the rain is probably way more dangerous. It's still an urban fight over here, which is interesting. Which is very interesting. Now, one of the things you can do with these missions is you can go and deploy a force. So this fight here, by default, I believe, when the fight is joined, it'll pick it from the lances that are assigned. But I think you can manually assign another lance to this. And whether or not, like if I assign my heavy lance, whether it would still assign the light or not, I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure how it would work. We're going to get a Panther on our side here, and our enemy, you can see there's fewer enemies. It's going to be considerably more balanced. In fact, I would say we'd have an advantage in our favor. 1 Phoenix Hawk, 1 Shadow Hawk, and then 2 vehicles over here. And the vehicles clearly aren't going to have jump jets. I don't even know if these Hawks, well, they're called Hawks. I bet you they have jump jets. That would be thematic. So this is who we're going to be fighting. So again, being on green, we're going to face a lot fewer enemies than if we were on regular. And especially, this is supposed to be a stand-up fight. Well, a probe. Again, all we have to do is kill a quarter of the battle value. It's possible we'll kill one of these guys like a vehicle, and that's not going to be 25% of the battle value. In fact, I suspect very much that would be the case. So probably what we have to do is take out one of these mechs. Although, we don't necessarily have to destroy them. The way battle value works is as these vehicles, these mechs or vehicles take damage, their battle value drops. It drops a lot if you manage to destroy any of their weapons or knock off an arm. Like, battle value is calculated dynamically by MegaMech. And so as mechs and things take damage and aren't as good anymore, their battle value contribution drops. And so we could take out 25% of their battle value without killing a single dude. It's possible. But probably your best bet is to do some sort of crazy focus fire on something like that, to take them out that way. I believe the Panther will give us some padding for our own side battle value, because this is attached. So we could lose the Panther, or we could lose one of our mechs and probably still not have lost 1/4 of our force. So this actually should be a fairly easy fight. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it here, though. I'm actually thinking of doing a stream with this. So I'm going to upload these videos right away. It's kind of awkward. It's Friday evening as I record this, and I'm probably going to upload it right away. It's going to be too late for the Europeans to see it. But I'm thinking of live streaming this tomorrow, Saturday, which might be the day you watch this video, so I apologize for the time confusion. And I think that might be kind of spiffy. So we'll see. It'd be nice if it wasn't another evening town fight, but we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching, folks. See you guys next time.